national anthem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Kern High Network Football live from Bear Country as the 0-2 Arvin Bears of the Horizon League host the 1-1 Kern Valley Broncos, led by Coach Scott Tedrow. Arvin Bears coming off a tough one, a loss to Shafter 20-19. Played very well, had some bright spots led by Jonathan Moreno, who had 16 carries for 128 yards. Nonetheless, losing a tough one with that Kern County, cross-Kern County rivalry, I should say. And Kern Valley coming off definitely a tough one versus Sierra of Toll House, where they lost 37-28. But they had some great output at the quarterback position by Josh Papp. He went 13 of 27 for 245, averaged 18 yards per completion, threw 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. So if you haven't seen a Kern Valley team play, they like to spread the ball out. They've had some quarterback success over the last 3 to 5 years, as they replace Caden Preston. But now they come to an Arvin team who's hungry for their first win, and I'm excited for a great night of football. I'm Kenny Calvin. I'm joined by my producer-director, Kevin Wally. And it's going to be an amazing night in the house that Hernan Santiago built.
Arvin will begin the game.
So I'm flying solo on the mic, but Kev's going to join me tonight. So, Kev, what do you expect?
I tell you,
tonight?
I'm at a little loss here because I don't have Vance to bat around at his home field. So
right,
I don't know what I'm going to do.
He messaged me on the way over here giving me orders. Hey, I need a picture of the sun with the mountain in the back.
Yeah, that's what he.
I'm like, come on,
that,
VP.
He told me that Tuesday when we did the volleyball game.
We know you own Arvin, Vance Palm, but now we got a game going, and that's a nice pooch kick, and that's going to be out to the 30-yard line. Tackled after a 6-yard gain where it'll be 1st and 10 Arvin. So we won't nag our buddy Vance Palm, who's across town handling business with Coach Corford too much.
Yeah, too much. I'll still.
We're going to get him. Not too much. Nonetheless, we'll definitely reflect on some of the great Arvin history as we host this contest. Special thanks to all of our staff down at the Kern High Network and Kern High School District Superintendency that are tuned in. Also want to thank our sponsors at Valley Strong Credit Union as we get this contest underway. So 1st and 10, Arvin Bears come out in a shotgun trip set against a 40-odd front. Now you got a quarterback keeper, and the Bronx do a great job of just closing things down as he kept that on a quarterback sweep, more of a quarterback power for about a 1-yard gain where it'll be 2nd and 9. So, Arvin, you got to be somewhat frustrated playing a tough team like Shafter, who's been coached very well by Coach Peruki across town, and not getting a win and losing by 1 point. So you definitely want to get off to a good start against the Bronx team, even though they have 1 win already. So 2nd and 9, trips open set. Quarterback drops back, and he's got pressure, and he's going to be sacked. And that ball came loose. Oh, and they're saying it's a turnover. The Broncos right away get a turnover. We'll try to get a number. And we have a flag on the play, and the Ziegler's going to wave that off as that penalty's declined. But we have our first turnover of the game on the first pass of the game. So unfortunate for the Arvin Bears, and now we'll get to see the arm of the great Kern Valley quarterback, Josh Papp. Papp had a QB rating of 101.6. If you don't know much about ratings, that's pretty dang good. Now he comes out in the double wing set, pistol formation, first down. Great penetration by the Arvin defensive line, and if you know anything about Arvin football, it's built on a tradition of toughness with a huge history of some great defenders.
Of 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 12. Ball at the 34.
Ball at the 34-yard line, 2nd and 12. You hear so much about Josh Papp, and they come out and run the football, you got to wonder if they're going to be trying to set up some of that play-action pass. Nonetheless, 2nd down. And there's that pass, a swing route, defended very well. Nice job by Karichi. Joaquin Karichi. Defensive back. Getting outside and keeping containment as they tried to run that swing route.
I think they were listening to you. They saw that one coming.
Absolutely, and they're playing so tight, Kev. Their safety is at about 8 yards deep. 3rd and 12 for Kern Valley. Shotgun double set. Oh, and we have movement by Arvin. And that's going to be encroachment. 5 yards, and it'll be a repeated 3rd down for the Broncos.
After the penalty, 3rd and 7.
So I've had some amazing games where I've called for Kern Valley. One of them, they had a quarterback, Caden Preston, and he looked like a young Brett Favre out there just standing in the pocket, slinging that thing left to right. He's doing great things in the Kern River Valley, training some young kids now. 3rd and 7. Arvin looking to bring some pressure, and they do. Oh, and the ball is on the ground. And let's see who has it. Still for a scrum. Arvin Bears coming out looking like they got it. And they do. Arvin defense making up for the offensive mistake. And that looks like the captain, Andres Alvarez, causing the fumble. Amazing job by that. 25. Steven Martinez getting the recovery. It's going to be a little tough for me to catch numbers, but we'll try to get those to you. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 Bears. And now here's that run game. We see it. He has room across the 40. One man to beat. Now a flag. Nice move at the 40 to the 20 to the 10. Touchdown Bears by Joaquin Karichi. But it looks like it's going to come back as that umpire or the ref right at about the 48-yard line saw something that we didn't see, and we'll get the call from the White Hat. And that was unfortunate because it looked like by the time they threw the flag, he was already out.
He was in open ground.
Yeah, open ground, ready to skate. And you get the penalty kind of called behind the run, so it's going to be some upset coaches once they see that. Nonetheless, a hold is going to nullify an amazing run. And we're getting our first glimpse of that strong running game that we talked about from Arvin in that contest last week versus Shafter.
and 6.
Still, though, it's got to give you some energy to pull off a play like that, even if it comes back.
Absolutely. You know, just the confidence to know.
You know you can do it.
So they go right back to the same play to the other side, and it's bottled up very well after a gain of 3. Power sweep for about 3 yards. And that looked like that was Xavier Reynoso on the carry. He'll come out for a quick breather. 2nd and 4 for the Arvin Bears.
2nd and 4.
Counter Trey inside. And they hand it to the dive. They're countering that fullback just to try to get some linebacker flow, and they hand it right to that dive off the backside of it. Nonetheless, great job by Kern Valley playing nice inside. You know, you hear so much about the Kern Valley offense and how well they do that the defense gets overshadowed, but to be 1-1 in the Horizon League or in the High Desert League early tells them that they have some success defensively. So now we're at a 3rd and about 3. Twins left. RPO power play, and that's going to be close and right at the sticks. Looks like they may have enough for their first down of the contest.
Yeah, I think they made it.
And they do. So a little bit of redemption after the call back touchdown. You got to expect to see that play come back sooner than later, but nonetheless, 1st and 10.
1st and 10.
Wing set. And they go that power play just like I said, right back to it and across the 50. Out at the 41-yard line and right on call. Worked so well. That's how you can tell.
Not quite as successful as the first time, but not bad.
Absolutely. Jonathan Moreno on the carry. He had a fantastic game last week. 16 carries for 128, averaging 8 yards a pop, and now I see why. Because that was about 8 right there. 1st and 10, Arvin Bears. Twins up top, pistol formation. They go option right back to that sweep again, faking the dive. It's more of an old school veer style of offense that you're seeing out of the Arvin Bears. Tight end with the wing, 2 wideouts. Traditional fullback. You don't see this style of offense a lot anymore. But when you have a powerful offensive line, and we'll get to some of those linemen for Arvin, in a running game that's been on display, you can see why they stay in that heavy set. And once again, they're in double tight. They go right back to that reverse sweep. And it looks like he has room, ladies and gentlemen, and he's across the 30. Stutter step and taken out of bounds by the captain, number 60, Derek Hinkey. And that's an amazing run for Jonathan Moreno. And it's so hard to get outside of that because when you see that quarterback faking that dive, he's doing that to keep that middle linebacker one step late on those outside routes. So we have our first charge timeout. Gives us the opportunity to just talk about some of the contests that are happening across town. And we did get the information that the name of the Arvin Stadium is the Frank Barl Stadium. So shout out to the Barl family. We'll work on getting some of those scores as we begin the first half. We got some scores from yesterday's contest, though. Tehachapi, 30 over Taft with 20. Delano took a tough beating by North, 41-27. And Wasco dominated Wenatchee, 40-20.
Wow.
Right, Menachie's
That doesn't
usually
happen
tough.
very often.
Right.
2nd and 10.
And they get back to it, power to the right-hand side, and that's going to be across the 20. One man to beat across the 10, still on his feet, and that's touchdown, Arvin first.
Touchdown, Arvin.
Amazing job by that offensive line. That right tackle and tight end just did a great job crushing down, and that fullback kicked out, as well as the tight end kicking out. Just an amazing job. You see their favorite play.
ROTC over there doing push-ups.
Shout out to the ROTC. You know, it is Service Members Week every first game of the season, or in the collegiate level. They honor the service members, so I always love seeing the ROTC members get out there and represent. Oh, the kick is blocked. You got to wonder if that's going to come back to haunt the Bears.
The kick is blocked.
But great job by that offense, showing that dominating running game right away. But ultimately, we got to say special thanks to all of our service members. You know, I can't thank my son enough, stationed out in Wiesbaden, Germany. But today, Kev, he's in Spain on the beach with his shirt off, living it up.
Can't beat that.
Got about 2 weeks left over there in Europe, so he's not having to work as much and finally getting to loosen up. But can't wait for him to come back home, and special thanks to all of our service members in all branches of the military and first responders.
Let's see, Spain. That's where they're having the big tomato festival where they clobber each other with tomatoes.
Maybe that's what he's going to do. Hopefully he brings me back some sauce.
I'd much rather get a hit with a few tomatoes than run with the bulls myself. So.
Right. I'm nowhere near those bulls. Yeah. So the Arvin Bears do a great job executing after that touchdown was taken away. Kern Valley doing a great job getting some depth into the backfield after that bot snap to get the block. Now you have a 6-0 game. Kern Valley, Division 6 in the High Desert League. Arvin Bears, Division 5 of the South Yosemite League. The kick is off, and that's going to be a touchback. Nice job by the kicker, number 2, Julian Rodriguez.
And this is homecoming. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier.
We definitely did not mention that this is
homecoming. Arvin High's homecoming, so lots of excitement here in the crowd.
Right, me and Mr. Willie were talking about how interesting it is to see a homecoming so early. I think this may be the earliest homecoming I've ever done. So Kern Valley comes out in that shotgun double set. Bears looking to bring some pressure with 5 up front. Oh, and they got movement. Great job by the linebacker.
Full start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Amazing job by Steven Martinez. As soon as he went and acted like he was about to blitz through that A-gap and made that guard so nervous. You know, sometimes you don't even have to come. You just have to act like it. Having some of the little nuances of the game. 1st and 15 for the Broncos. And they go RPO power. Oh, and it looked like he had some room, and the Grass Monsters got him.
Number 5, Brian Hernandez, the ball carrier.
Brian Hernandez looked like he had a nice hole and just tripped over the yard line. Definitely going to be upset when he sees that on film because he probably would have had about 8 yards.
2nd and 14. Ball at the 16-yard
Send a special
line.
thank you to the Arvin High School for hosting us tonight. You know, I definitely want to give a shout out to Principal Ed Watts, AP of Instruction Gabriel Martin Ramirez, and we'll get to the rest after this snap. Jet sweep, bottled up big time by a host of Bear defenders, and that went nowhere, led by number 24, Adrian Sarabian.
On the carry. Stop for a loss of 1 yard on the play.
Special thanks to AP Administration, Taussig Bruton, Athletic Director Edgar Maris, Activities Director Laura Lira, and the rest of the Arvin staff. It looks beautiful out here tonight. Third and 15. And the Broncos looking a little bit frustrated, heading in the wrong direction. They've done nothing but go backwards and also have the turnover on the first drive. So this is a situation here where you don't want to make another mistake this deep in your own end, because this can lead to an early night if another turnover turns into points. Patton scrambling, has a man. Oh, and he throws a lollipop. Oh, and it's almost caught. Intended for number 2, Aiden Madden, but that's going to be incomplete, and it's going to be a 4th down.
Almost intercepted, almost recaught.
Man, it's been some crazy catches this week already. It was a couple of those in the Penn State Purdue game last night as I watched my nephew, Joey Porter Jr., put in work. So the Broncos look like they're in a regular set, but this is more than likely a short punt set. Oh, and that's going to be right out at about the 46-yard line. Great field position coming up for the Arvin Bears with 5:15 to play in this first quarter. I want to thank everybody who tuned in to Kern High Network. I'm Kenny Calvin, joined by my producer, director, Kevin Willie. You know, I always say this is the house that Hernan Santiago built because I played against Hernan here, barely escaped with a victory in 94 or 93. But he was also my college captain at Bakersfield College and one of my greatest teammates. But there's a lot of other Bears that made this place famous, and one of them is my late coach, Coach Grider. Rest in peace, Coach.
46.
Twins left for the Bears. And they're going for the fade, and he has a step. Oh, and it's right over the outstretched arms of David Martinez. Had a step and kind of short-armed it, but that was a nice pass.
Number 34, Wyatt Johnstone on the coverage.
Nice pass.
I have to echo those sentiments about Dallas. Spent time with him at West High when he was teaching PE, coaching over there. That's when I was there.
All right.
And he's a great guy.
Yeah, you know, it's just certain people whose names, when you say them out loud, give me goosebumps, and that's one of them, Coach Grider, man. Back to the power sweep, and that's a nice hole and run inside. Jonathan Moreno on the carry, and boy, we do see another piece of yellow laundry. And that's going to be a hold.
Hold on, Arvin.
Offense.
I keep holding on. That's our second holding penalty that's brought back a big run. Can't keep holding on in there. I knew that hole looked too big. Third, that's going to make it second and 20 for the Bears. But when you're running the football with the success that they're having it, you're probably just going to keep on doing that because they're getting about 8 to 9 yards a pop every play. Trips right, gets a 40 even set, and look how shallow these defensive backs are playing, so the Bears are going to go empty, and they may have options. They go middle screen, and oh, great defense on the inside by that defensive lineman. Let's see if we can get a number on that. guy, and that's Chris Lopez with the amazing play inside. And young defensive linemen, only way we can stop screens on defense is if you are aware to not keep coming upfield when the quarterback is drifting back. That was an amazing job by the young man, Chris Lopez, Jr. out of Kern Valley. So that brings up 3rd and long. Broncos defense trying to step up. Oh, and they go to pop pass to the tight end in the middle, and it's wide open. Great design, and that's caught by number 88, Remy Vasquez. Amazing design by Coach Robert Riley. You have trips up top, and then you sneak that tight end right into that seam route. Amazing design.
He threw that under a lot of pressure, too.
Yes, he did. Twins right for Arvin, looking to be consistent. And now they see something in the air because they're going after him, and they got a step. Oh, and it's almost a nice catch, but we had contact, and that's going to be pass interference as a defensive back. Kind of hindered the progress of the wide receiver, David Martinez.
Pass interference, defense.
And this never happened to me too much, but when you got a guy that's just that much faster than you, sometimes you just get nervous and you abandon all of your technique, and that looks like what happened to the young defensive back, to where he saw the guy getting the step on him, and instead of trying to turn around and play the ball, he just reached out and grabbed. But if you turn around and play the ball in that situation, you may get the interception. Bryce Smoot. They have Bryce Smoot listed as a linebacker. And he's only a sophomore, so hopefully he'll use that as a learning experience. Get his head around, play the football next time. So we have a sideline warning. Against the Bears. Like we said, they're hyped tonight. A beautiful crowd for this homecoming.
I think that was on Kern Valley over there.
Okay, so they called it on Kern Valley. But after the penalty, they came over and also warned the Arvin side as well. So now we have a 1st and 10 for the Bears.
But we know it wasn't aiding the runner.
Hey, believe it or not, I saw aiding the runner play last night. And that fullback dive, and I can't wait to get to this play. Because last night, they had a play where they lined the quarterback up under center in the full house backfield behind him, Kev, and the tight end was the fullback who pushed the quarterback in for the touchdown. And one of the broadcasters said, well, sometimes they'll call that as aiding the runner. But they didn't call it today, and I was like, well, why'd they call it last week? Because it definitely is something that you've never seen called at a high school football game. And we're referring to the Bakersfield High Frontier game where aiding the runner call was made. Nonetheless, we're in Bear country, and they're going back to that power that's worked so well. A nice move, cutting it back, and great job with the shoestring tackle. Chris Lopez playing great inside for the Broncos.
Number 45, Chris Lopez.
Our assignment last week was the Frontier BHS game. And, we definitely try to be fair for the officials, but there were a few calls that left the whole county's head scratching. But it was a great contest. Frontier battled out and played an amazing brand of football led by Spatler. 3rd and 7 for the Bears. Quarterback rolling right, got some pressure. Oh, and it's picked off. And that's an amazing pick, and he made up for it, just like I said.
The pass intercepted by number 4, Bryce.
Great job by Bryce Smoot. He must have heard us up here, Kev, giving him some tough criticism because that was an amazing play. But ultimately, that's a ball that, as a quarterback, you definitely don't want to throw that late off of your back foot. But amazing job by Bryce Smoot making the play. And he almost tried to go to the house, ladies and gentlemen. But 1st and 10 for the Broncos from their 37 with 1:26 to play.
The interception return takes the ball down to the Arvin.
In this first quarter.
Line. Check that to Kern Valley, 38-yard line. Kern Valley will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
Shotgun double set. Pressure from the Bears. Great scramble by Kern Valley, and that's a nice job getting it down. A huge hit. And that's going to be a flag at the end of the tackle, and that might be spearing, if anything, because that was a huge hit after the great scramble. Josh Papp looking like a young Doug Flutie out there right now. Let's see what the call is. Personal foul, face mask against the Bears, and that's exactly what you want if you're Kern Valley.
Maybe it was a delayed reaction, but that seemed like that play was all over and done when that whistle blew and the flag went.
Right, definitely was very late from our perspective. Wonder if the coaches had a little bit to do with it since it was so close to that sideline.
Arvin 40-yard line. Make that the 39. Check that 41-yard line. 1st and 10.
1st and 10. Kern Valley in that double wing set, pistol formation. Pap. They're going option left. Oh, huge hit. And the running back is probably like, why'd you pitch that to me?
It's like they lost a couple yards.
14, D and Lee taking the option to the left.
Huge hit
Loss of a yard.
at the end of that, and they're going to lose one, and that'll bring up 2nd and 11, and they'll try to get this last play of the first quarter off as they trail 6-0. Second and 12 for the Broncos. Arvin Bears in the 50 front. Oh, and it's a mess up front, and they do a great job containing everything. And that's going to be a short gain of about 1. And that is the end of the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. And we are live from Barrel Kern. We'll be back with more Kern High Network football right after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
All right, we're back. Arvin High School holding on to a 6-point lead over the Bronx. I got corrected over the break. It's the Bronx, not the Broncos. I'm sorry, guys. 3rd and 11. Shotgun double set. Oh, and the snap is unexpected, and that's exactly what you didn't want to do after a break. Tough break for the Bronx, and that's going to bring up 4th and 11 right after the break. And those are the things that we call coach killers. You know, you come out You talk about all this great strategy while you have a timeout. All of your players' eyes are focused on you, and the first thing they do when they come out after the break is put the ball on the ground.
4th and 11. Ball at the 42.
So 4th and 11 for the Bronx.
Yeah, things like that happen, and I can just see Coach Van Horn's head shaking.
Absolutely. Trips open set for Pap, and they're going for it. 4th and long. You got to let it fly now. And they do. And he had a man wide open, but he missed him. And that's going to be incomplete and turnover on downs, and Pap is still down. Getting helped up by big number 76, Cameron Stansel. But nonetheless, great job by the Arvin Bears as they convert the turnover on downs, and it'll be 1st and 10 heading south.
Arvin will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
So Arvin handing it off on that fullback dive, and that's a great job. And that's going to be about a 17-yard gain out to the 43-yard line on that veer option play. Fullback dive.
The ball across midfield and down to the.
We'll try to get you guys some scores and updates as the night progresses. But right now, Arvin is trying to see if they can capitalize. Haven't been able to convert on their last couple of drives, and they're going back to the fullback dive. Worked so well. And they get another 5-yard gain. Great job by that guard and center, getting up to the next level on those linebackers after initially chipping the defensive tackles. That's what has to happen when you're being successful on inside run. Linemen often have to block 2 people on one play. Now they pull that guard, and that's a great job penetrating on that backside by that defensive front four.
Number 3, Jonathan Moreno.
Moreno has had some bright spots, but he's bottled up on that one, and now we're going to have a timeout. We'll take a quick break and be right back with more Kern High Network football right after this.
First charge, timeout.
We are back at Arvin High School. Bears holding on to a 6-point lead. Very important 3rd and 3. Now they go back to that power, and great job by Kern Valley Broncos stopping up the backfield. And that looked like also number 80, Dominic Mental, doing a great job.
35-yard line, loss of 2 yards on the play. 4th and 5.
4th and 5 for the Bears, and they're looking to go for their first 4th down opportunity too. Got to expect something in the air. How well Kern Valley has played against the run on this drive. And this heavy set. Oh, and they go jet sweep, and you got movement, and they may have had that. But you got a false start, and that might change the coach's mind.
5-yard penalty.
And it does. It looks like the punt team is going to be coming out. for the Arvin Bears.
40-yard line, 4th and 10.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you got two of the best visual places. Bear Mountain for Arvin. You got the Kern River Valley. I love going up there and eating at Ewing's. Hollering at my man Neil Preston. It's one of the most beautiful views in the Kern River Valley, sitting on that deck, peering out over the Kern River.
Spent some time that's just the end of this summer before school started, going up to Dome Lands and hanging out up there,
Man,
taking some
beautiful
pictures.
place.
And
Arvin downs the punt at the
I hadn't been up there since my college days when my teammate Curtis Airy would take us up there. But going back as an adult and seeing just how beautiful that place is, even with the water levels low, it's just still such a beautiful, beautiful environment. So Kern Valley will have their opportunity. Great job by that defense getting a stop. Now they'll have it on their own 16-yard line. And Pap will be in a trips open set. He hasn't had a lot of time to throw. And there it is again, a lot of pressure, and he's sacked. Oh, and the ball is out, and that's going to be recovered by Arvin. Oh, and that's exactly what you didn't want if you're a Kern Valley Bronx fan. Turnover on first down, and I was just reiterating the fact of how much pressure the Arvin defensive line is applying. And I couldn't even get the sins out of my mouth before they caused the fumble with some great pressure. Amazing job by that Arvin Bear defense. I'll try to get a number for you guys. Usually it's the person getting the most attention. So we're going to say it's number 64 or 54 that picked up that fumble or caused it. So 1st and goal for the Bears. So now we have another timeout. Gives us opportunity to talk schedule. Looks like the Bears will be at Taft next week. Taft has been playing some pretty good football. Kern Valley will be at McFarland next week. As we inch closer to league play. 8:36 remaining to play in the first half. Special thanks to the Arvin High Administration, Principal Ed Watts, AP of Instruction, Gabriel Ramirez, AP of Administration, Tausik Brushin.
Second quarter score, Stockdale 9, Ridgeview 6.
Oh,
Stockdale having a good game tonight.
nice. They need it, too. They struggled the first couple of weeks. All right, so the Arvin Bears coming back out. 1st and goal after the huge turnover, looking to convert the turnover to points.
First and goal.
Omar Pardo at quarterback with the full house backfield. And that's going to be handed off on the power, and that's going to be touchdown Bears. Christopher Carlos takes the power for the 3-yard gain, but just a dominating performance by that right side of the offensive line for Arvin. You know, people come to games as fans and you hear about all the pretty guys on the edge, defensive backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, but the money is made in the trenches, ladies and gentlemen, and that Arvin offensive line is doing a fantastic job in this first half, putting the hat on the hat and moving the pow. And now they're going for 2 points in that old full house backfield, and they're going right back to the same play, right back through your face for the 2-point conversion, and that's going to be 14-0 Arvin Bears.
That was just an instant replay.
You know, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't like about good run teams. It can seem so repetitive, but if it's successful, why are you changing it? You know, we were one of those teams in high school, driller teams in the 90s. We ran the football so much because we had a guy named Steve Warford who ended up the California all-time leading rusher. And I was a receiver who was like, well, we're not throwing it much, so, Coach, I just want to play defense all game. You can let somebody else run around and block. But that's why you have successful contests when you can run the football. If it's working, right.
There have been a lot of those really strong, physically strong teams that just hashed it out on the line.
Yes, indeed. Arvin had some great running backs last year. I had a chance to do the Arvin and North game last year, and the two running backs were putting on a show. The Makai Shaw from, not sure if his first name is Makai, but Shaw from North, and the other back that they had here. It's been some amazing backs, and we got some amazing backs on the hill up there for the Renegades who will be in action tomorrow as well. A lot of the local kids stayed home to play. That's a beautiful thing. So the Bears up 14-0, 8:30 to play in this first half. Kenny Calvin and Kevin Willie. And they'll have action at a return, and it's taken at the 5. And let's see if special teams can do something for him. And he does not use his wedge. And that's going to work against him as he gets it out to about the 23-yard line. Where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bronx. One thing that we haven't talked about is that Josh Papp not only had 245 in the air last week, he also had 14 carries for 100 yards on the ground. So he's a special kid if he can get time, but right now Arvin must have heard about that because they're not giving him any. 1st and 10, Broncos. Now they go with some of that dive action. Taken out for about a 3-yard gain. Sometimes that's what you have to do when things aren't working through the air. You have to simplify the process. You can't keep dropping your quarterback back when he's not able to get any protection. Last drive was the second play of the drive, or may have been the first play. They roll right, and it's a sack fumble that turns into a touchdown. Sometimes simplifying the game keeps you in it.
A bit of an equipment issue there with one of the Arvin players.
Bronx, nice inside action. Going with that cross trap play as they flash one runner across your face and pull a guard to try to kick out that backer. And though it may not be a fancy display of football, it's successful in the realm of getting 3 yards, because if you can get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, you can get those first downs to keep the chains moving. 3rd and 3 for the Bronx. Oh, lured them to sleep, and they dropped the out, and that was perfectly defended.
The pass incomplete. Number 12, Kyle Denny is the intended receiver.
Jonathan Moreno not only playing great in the offensive backfield, playing great in the defensive backfield as well as he closes on that out route. And right now, if you're Kern Valley, you have to be putting this football unless you're ready for a running clock in a few minutes. Let's see.
I think they could, well.
Wow, and they come out in that pistol formation, and they say, hey, Kenny Calvin, we didn't drive all the way down here. You just lose. Oh, and the snap is high. Oh, and that's going to be turnover on downs. Now we got some extracurricular activity. Great restraint by the official, not calling anything, but horrible turn of events for the Kern Valley Broncs as the snap goes over the punter's head. And there's going to be another first down inside the 20-yard line after a turnover for the Bears.
Arvin will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
So now it looks like it's 9-6, Ridgeview, or Stockdale over Ridgeview. .6:32 remaining in the play in this first half. Arvin takes the snap, and they go for that fade. He has a step, and that's going to be caught. He muffs him for the touchdown. Great catch by David Martinez. Amazing pass and catch. Oh, and it looks like we have a holding call, and that's going to nullify the touchdown, but great pass and catch.
Penalty will be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Omar Pardo putting on a show with his arm. But that's going to be scratched. And a 10-yard penalty. And this Bronx defense has played pretty well. You would say, how can you say that, Ken? They're down 14-0. Well, when you turn the ball over twice inside your own 20, that's going to lead to more points.
That penalty will put the ball back at the 29-yard line.
So the defense is playing okay. Offense has to do a better job if you're Kern Valley holding on to the ball and at least punting it away. And now they go to end around inside, and that was beautiful. As Joaquin Carici takes that wing tee end around. There's a team up north that used to run that play religiously that I won't mention.
That'll pick up 2nd and 19.
2nd and 19 for the Bears. 5:56 to play in the first half. Kern High Network, live from Arvin Bear Country. And they go with that power once again. Oh, great job by the Kern Valley defensive line, playing some inspired football. Doing the best they can. Try to get some numbers for you guys as these guys are playing their heart out. Lopez has been playing fantastic as well. But the Bears come out in that trip set. They've had some success throwing the football. Let's see if they can get a pass off. And they got a man, and that's a touchdown. Burks. So great job. Trip set. When we say trip set, you have 3 receivers to one side. On that play, it looks like everyone ran quick slants. In that matchup with that third receiver, you're usually going to have a linebacker matched up with that third receiver, and that was just a total mismatch. And great pass and catch by that Bear offensive core. Omar Pardo putting on the show with his arm. Pardo went 10 for 15, 145 yards last week, but no touchdown. So it's good to see him get a touchdown pass, even though he averaged 14.5 yards per completion.
Full start offense.
Now we have a false start penalty on that field goal attempt, and that's going to back the Bears up. Bears and Bronx, live from Kern High Network. in the shadow of Bear Mountain, the home of Vance Palm. All right, that's your last shout out.
The garden in the sun.
The garden in the sun. I can't get the Vance Palm voice. The garden of the sun.
One of a kind, that guy.
One of a kind. Traveled all over the world with that golden voice. .454 to play. Arvin looking like they're meaning business, capitalizing on some of those turnovers. They've had a turnover on downs. They've had a sack fumble, and now they're going for the two-pointer, and they got a man wide open, and that's going to be money.
The conversion attempt is good.
So the Bears up 22-0 in this first half.
Number 88, Remy Vasquez.
Broncos, the Bronx, I should say, going to need to get something going. I like what they did in that last drive, trying to be more balanced, because they were initially dropping back to pass the ball a little bit too much, and they don't have the protection that Pap needs to be successful with this Arvin defensive line. So they transitioned into trying to run the football, which got them into that makeable 3rd and 3 range, but they weren't able to capitalize as that incomplete pass to the flat happened, and they had to punt it, and then you hike the ball over your punter's head, and it turns into points for the other team. So we are live at Arvin High School. It is homecoming, ladies and gentlemen. And this crowd is packed. We wish we could show you the home side. You got a few of the Kern Valley faithful that made the trip down the mountain. The ball is kicked off. Oh, takes a weird bounce, and he's going to have to get that because he touched it. And that's going to be a touchback because he didn't control it. But very sketchy. And that'll be 1st and 10 for the Bronx. Coming out from the 20.
Officials will spot the ball at the Kern Valley 20-yard line. Kern Valley will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
Special thanks to Valley Strong Credit Union for sponsoring all of our Kern High Network contests. Every Friday, as an administrator for a residential facility, I have to drive through the drive-through, get allowance broke down for all of my residents, and I always promise them a shout-out, even though I have to shout them out.
We don't do it because we have to. We do it because we like to.
I know. I'm just playing with them.
They don't slip you a few extra bills in that when they do that, do they?
No, they take care of me, man. It was a couple times I pull up, I didn't even have to say my name. They just, all right, we got you, Kenny.
Saw Kenny coming.
Like, wow, man, making me feel special out here. Shout out to Valley Strong Credit Union. 1st and 10 for the Bronx. Arvin, defensive line, not budging at all. And you got to commend Coach Tedrow trying to run the football, because you know there's a parent in the stands that's saying, why are you running the football? You can't just keep dropping back and throwing the football if you can't protect your quarterback. So to see them trying to run the football is them trying to establish balance to catch Arvin off guard to be able to throw the football. Second and 9 for the Bronx. Power inside, and that's a nice hole and run. Great job by number 47, Ricardo Tapia, on the carry. Gets about 5 yards, and that's what you want to try to do. You want to try to put your offense in the position to have makeable 3rd down conversion opportunities. You do that by having successful run games or successful short passing game. Right now, the short run game looks like it's working. And now you got Patton keeping it, and he's using his feet for the first time, and he's going to be – looks like he's going to have enough for the 1st down. Great job by Pat.
Takes the handoff, takes the ball himself to the right.
Wait, so it looks like he may be a little. Okay, so the chains are going to move. Let me test out my new binoculars, ladies and gentlemen.
Down to the 32-yard line. First down, Kern Valley. Give it 7 yards on the play. First.
So we talked about Patton's ability with his feet during the break. He had 14 carries for 100 yards last week. That was the first time we saw him try to make a play with his feet. He's going to have to do a little bit more of that. But right now, that's a great job running the football on that play by number 14, Deegan Lee.
Number 14, Deegan Lee, the ball carrier.
And you got to admire Scott Tedrow's approach to the game. After coming out, spreading the football out, it didn't work. He couldn't protect. Great coaches adjust, and it seems like he's adjusting to try to get his team to the half without any more bleeding. Patton keeps it, still on his feet and just know where to go. Great pursuit and pressure by Christopher Carlos.
Number 6, Christopher Carlos making a stop. Number 18, Josh Papp taking the ball himself. Gets stopped at the 35-yard line.
Kev, you can go back 30 years
Loss of 4 yards
in Arvin history, and they've played the same style of defense year in and year out. They're going to put their corners in your face. They're not the fastest guys in the world, but they're not going to give you a whole lot of time to do what you want to do. And that's what we're seeing out of this defense right now. They're flying around. It's very impressive. 3rd and 7 for the Bronx. Double tight wing T set, pistol formation for Patton. And now we have movement. And that's going to be an illegal shift.
Full start offense.
We got movement,
5-yard penalty.
false start, and that's what you don't want to do when you're finding a way to manage a drive, because now you're right back behind the chains with a 3rd and 12 when you had a 3rd and about 7.
3rd and 12.
So now we have a stoppage of play, and we're going to have a timeout, Kern Valley. We'll take a quick break with 1:06 to play and come back with more Kern High Network football right after this. All right, we're back live from Arvin High School, home of the Bears. The 0-2 Arvin Bears looking to get their first win of the season as they're up 22-0 over Kern Valley. Kern Valley, 1-1 in the High Desert League, coming off a tough loss to Sierra, looking to just scratch the board against a tough Arvin Bears defense. And right now with a 3rd and 12, you just want to try to do the best you can without making a huge mistake and giving them great field position. So now you got Patton, and he launches it, and that's going to be D'd up very well by 3 defenders. Oh, and it looks like we had a hit. Oh, and it's going to be a roughing the passer penalty by the Arvin Bears. That's going to keep the drive alive for the Bronx, and that's exactly what they needed with 59 seconds left in this half to try to get something going. Right away, you see somebody getting pulled off the field, and it's Michael Garcia. He must have been the guilty culprit. That's going to be a first down after the 15-yard personal foul penalty by the Bears, and that might be their first big mistake of the game, Kev.
45-yard line. First and 10.
So it says third down on the box, but it's going to be first and 10 for the Bronx. I'm going to get that out of my system. With 59 seconds to play, the thing that we got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, clock stops with first downs at this level. But the Bears are bringing pressure, and that's exactly what I talked about. I told you, you are not going to be comfortable playing the Arvin Bears defense, and they brought the house. And that's going to be an incomplete pass, luckily, as Patton was able to get that off at the last second.
Incomplete pass as Arvin's going forward.
And he barely got that off, ladies and gentlemen. Just great job by Patton extending the play to at least get himself an opportunity to throw the football away, because there was 4 guys in his face. And I don't care who you are, if you don't have protection, you're not going to be very successful as a quarterback. So we got another timeout on the field. We'll stay here. See if we got any more scores. So now it's 12-9 Ridgeview in the second. Ridgeview fighting back against Stockdale. Tough contest. I'm hoping for some scores from somewhere else. I might have to go online on Bakersfield Sports Network and see if we can get some. 53.9 to play in the first half. Arvin Bears up 22-0. Kern Valley Bronx and Patton with an extra opportunity after a huge roughing the passer call, but they're on their own 45-yard line, and it's going to be tough to do anything if you cannot get some kind of protection. We are live for the Arvin High School homecoming. Beautiful crowd filled with red and black. Got the beautiful Crimson A on the field. Shotgun double set for Patton. 2 deep safety look. Man covers, and now it's more pressure. Patton steps up, and he has a man inside. And he has a first down, but looks like he fumbled the football, and there's a man still running across the 30, across the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Birds.
We got a flag down there on the
we do got a flag down.
48-yard line.
We have a flag down at the 46. But what we didn't have, Kev, was a whistle. And there was one player that kept playing, and you always are taught as a young player, you got to keep playing to the whistle.
Yeah.
And if that penalty was on Kern Valley, that touchdown is going to stand for the Bears, and we might have a running clock when we come back after this half.
And it is.
Wow. So the Kern Valley penalty is declined, and that's going to be another devastating turnover by the Kern Valley Bronx as the scoop and score is taken all the way in for the touchdown. And the Bears lead this game 28-0 with 36 seconds left to play this half. Wow. Now, one of the things that I talked about, it was very important to make sure you didn't make another mistake before getting out of the half, because now this is a situation where this game may be out of hand. You might turn that bus a little bit in, though. And the ROTC representing, they doing those push-ups. What they got to do, 28, Kev?
I believe that's what happened. What they do, yeah, they got to up it as long as the score goes up.
That's why they be so swole out here. All these Arvin Bear touchdowns they've been scoring. But, hey, We looked at the stats. We thought it was going to be an amazing game on the ground, but really it's turned into an amazing defensive contest for the Bears. And now they're throwing it, and that's going to be incomplete. So it'll stay 28-0 with 36 seconds left to play in this first half. Special thanks to our staff down at the Kern High School Network and Kern High School District Superintendency. Want to thank our sponsors at Valley Strong Credit Union for allowing us to put on these amazing events.
You talk about Valley Strong Credit Union and the Kern High School District, our Kern High Network. They carry, you go down there to, what am I trying to say, Ken?
Well, it's basically
They've got
they got us covered.
They've got the
Achieve
Achieve magazine at Kern High that Kern High Network puts on. The staff at Kern High Network. You can pick those up at Kern Federal Credit Union, which is Kern. It's Valley Strong.
Yep.
Is what I'm trying to say. I need a halftime.
That's all right, Kev. We got you. Y'all don't see what Kev is doing. Kev is working the camera. He got the board. He has the mixer. And he's trying to be my color commentator today because I'm flying solo. So, Kev, I got you, man. I'm going to let him know.
I don't know about how good that's going to be.
No, but you're right. And ironically, I had a meeting for one of my students who had a meeting with a counselor this morning at Ridgeview High School. And the first thing I did when I signed in was pick up my Achieve magazine.
Every time I go in, there's a new one there. I pick it up.
Yep.
I got them all from issue number 1.
Yeah, amazing job by our Kern High Network staff.
Javier does a great job of putting those things together.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say shout out to our man Javier. Does so much work behind the scenes, man. So the kick is taken. Uh-oh, and now you got to move. If he can make somebody miss, which he does. Great run back. Brian Hernandez on the return. Oh, and this is what you don't want to have is injury. Looks like we got an injured Bronco. And this last 35 seconds is going to take us 30 minutes to get to the half as we have an injured Bronco. We'll get that number as soon as we can. But we'll stay here because we'll be at the half in a second. And I'll work on that number for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like an 8. But I might be mistaken. So some interesting matchups across the valley today. You got Bishop Diego slapping Garces around today, 28-7. You got Shafter slapping Miramonte around 28-0. I see this score, it says Porter versus Foothill, 14-0. Anytime you see Porter and Foothill, you got to think of the legend Joey Porter. Watched my nephew, Joey Porter Jr., ball out. I got to give him a shout-out again because he played so fantastic last night. Check this stat out, Kev. Most pass breakups since 2014 by an individual player by Joey Porter Jr. last night as Purdue kept attacking him with their run-and-shoot style of offense. And he just kept batting stuff down. But they got out of there with a nail-biter.
That was number 8, and he was up and walked off the field on his own, under his own power.
All right, so we have Carson Parks, who is the injured Bronc. He's back up on his feet. A couple more scores before the snap. You got Centennial up 26 over Independence. 7. You got CVC up 21-0 over BCHS. Ooh. And now the Broncs are going to take my advice and get out of here without any more mistakes as they trail 28-0. So I'll give you a couple more scores before we go to the half. You got Kennedy 14, Highland 14, Modern Day 29 against Central Corona 7, and Bullard 13 over Frontier with 10. And that is it for the first half. We'll be back with more second half action live from Bear Country on Kern High Network.
our junior class will be transporting us to a haunted mansion exhibition with Scooby-Doo. Where are you?
It was a dark and stormy night, and the mystery crew was on its way to Baltimore. As the mystery crew was on its way, they get lost and run into some trouble. Daphne turns and sees Kern Valley walking away. The mystery crew is now chasing Kern Valley off to the haunted house and eventually captures Kern Valley. With Kern Valley now captured, everyone is happy and safe.
14 episodes. We now want to introduce, for the first time performing at a homecoming halftime show, the Arvin High School Folkloric Group. His performance is featuring with one-night dancers taking the stage. We have Cruz Reyes Ramos, class of 1971. Carolina Gonzalez, class of 1981. Muriel Ramos, class of 2022. David Prescotto, class of 2006. Brenda Ruiz, class of 2012. Elvin Lopez, class of 2018. And Juan Mendoza, class of 2022. The group is performing in memory of Brenda Prescotto, class of 1997. Arvin Folkloric Team, if you're interested in being part of the group, visit Miss Ruiz in Ag 6 to sign up. Now to end our halftime performance, we have none other than our Arvin High School cheerleading team. Hit it, ladies.
Arvin High School Homecoming 2022 is rocking. Amazing display of culture and family. That was beautiful.
I want to shout out to a friend of mine, Brenda Ruiz, who teaches the folklorical dancers out here. She was one of the alumni out there dancing. She does a great job with the AV department here, teaching video production and the dance. And she put that together.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man. I mean, Kern County football has its own special thing. But as you go to these different schools in the different parts of Kern County, you see what makes the area great from the authenticity. You know, it reminds you of why Arvin is great. The culture of the people, the hard work, and that was a beautiful display. Great job by the Arvin staff and students for their homecoming festivities. So 2 minutes before we kick off, ladies and gentlemen, a synopsis of the game has been turnovers. And I can't even say the Arvin Bears have created the turnovers. It's been more of the Kern Valley Bronx having unfortunate and untimely turnovers. They've had fumbles inside their own 10-yard line. They had a punt go over the punter's head inside the 20-yard line. They had another fumble at the end of the half that was scooped and scored for about 55 yards right at the end of the half when they were just barely, they were trailing 22-0. 22-0, you can kind of do something when you're getting the ball in the second half, but 28-0 is a little bit harder to climb that mountain. And now we're off with second half action as the Kern Valley Bronx take it out to about the 38-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 heading south.
Number 12, Kyle Denny's on the kickoff return.
Yeah, you know, so I have New York business partners. I'm a Los Angeles sports writer, even though I work in social services here. I'm always trying to explain to my big city friends how important athletics is to the process of Kern County. It's one of the driving economic forces, as you see about 5,000 family and friends out here celebrating Arvin on this beautiful night under Bear Mountain. But nonetheless, Kern Valley looking to get something going, and they go right back to that run game that had not a lot of success, but was probably the thing that they did best in that first half, and that's going to be about a 1 to 2 yard gain. But it's one of the things that I stated early. Yeah, Pat is a great quarterback. He can do some special things by throwing the football, but you cannot allow your quarterback to sit back there and get teed off on if his front six aren't protecting. And the defensive line of Arvin has done a great job of making him scramble and get rid of the ball before he wants to. His best pass of the night was a scramble. So 2nd and 9, and now they're going back to Arvin's recipe and say, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. They're running that veer option offense after coming out and spread everything early.
Chug it along 3 yards at a time.
Absolutely. 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
It's a ball down to the 44-yard line.
You know, you do that 4 times, that's 12 yards. 3 times 4. I did pay attention to that in math class. We got a 3rd and 6 right now with 10:36 to play. And for Kern Valley, you definitely have to get some points on the board because the next score for Arvin, and we got a running clock. We might get home a little bit earlier than expected. Knock on this little bit of wood I got up here. Because last week, Kev, I didn't get home till about 12:45.
It was a late night last week.
Pap, with the option, kicks it out. And that's just a great job pursuing by the Bears because Pap looked like he had a nice little lane, but those backers are screaming downhill on you, and you pitching it out, and there's just no field, so there's no gain. And that's going to be 4th and 4. And for Kern Valley, I think it's about time that everything is 4 down territory once you're this far on the field. Because if you don't, and you punt it right back to this Arvin offense who's done a great job running the football on the ground and passing the football as they have a couple passing touchdowns, you're going to see an early night. So they're going for it. And you got Pap, and he's bottled up and nowhere fast, and that's going to be amazing defense by the Bears. Oh, and it looks like one of the defenders, Xavier Reynoso, might have jammed that finger as he came screaming off. And boy, is it one thing that I don't miss is hitting my fingers on a face mask, Kev. Especially about a month from now as that temperature starts to drop. And the game is about 40 to 50 degrees at night. Oh, you hit those fingers on a face mask. Oh! That and getting kicked in the shin is the most painful thing you can do on a football field. But, hey, we got Arvin Bears trying to put the Bronx to sleep. And they go with that fullback dive, and that's a nice hole, and that's going to be a nice gain across the 20. Inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Great job by that offensive line of the Bears. $9:57 to play in the third quarter. Kern High Network football. Kenny Calvin and Kevin Willie on the call tonight. Kev's mastering it all. He has about 9 fingers on 8 different things he's doing to the right. But he's also chipping in and helping me. One of my favorite things about Mr. Willie is I've always wanted to be a musician. Yeah, I've been a performer, but he's the musician. So I idolize you too, Kev.
Hey, you ever start singing, give me a call.
Absolutely. I still got the vocals, Kev. But that's taken inside, and that's going to be tackled inside the 1.
Number 7, Joaquin Carici, the ball carrier.
Kev, I have a lot of spoken word, poetry work that I would like to put in front of a band. Simple 3-piece maybe. You might have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Second and goal.
So second and goal. This Arvin Bear offensive line has been putting in work, and we'll highlight some of these guys because they definitely earned it. Jahir Parra, Christopher Rivera, Andres Alcaraz, Brian Garcia, Mauricio Gomez, Angel Velasquez, 8. And now they pound it in, and that's going to be touchdown Bears. So the Arvin Bears on homecoming night taking no prisoners as they are up 34-0 with 9 to play in this third quarter. And for the Kern Valley Bronx, you've got to be frustrated because after a week you had last week against a nice high-octane offense putting up 20-plus points, you come out and you haven't really done much successful. I want to say they've only had about maybe 5 first downs through the first half and nothing so far in the second half. So definitely a frustrating night, but maybe an opportunity for Coach Tedrow to get some of his younger guys in and give them an opportunity to get some snaps as the Bears go in for 2, and that's going to make it a 36-0 lead for the Arvin Bears.
Is good. Number 6, Christopher Carlos on the carry.
Special thanks to the Arvin administration, Principal Ed Watts, AP of Instruction Gabriel Ramirez, AP of Administration Tosik Brusin, Athletic Director Edgar Maris, and Activities Director Laura Lira. Fantastic job that they've done tonight. I mean, anytime you can get your home stands packed out, it's a beautiful, beautiful night.
And then give them a winning football game.
And give them a winning football game because nothing like getting blown out on homecoming. I don't know nothing about that, but personally, but I have handed out a couple L's on homecoming before, so it's definitely good to get the big victory.
Well, we usually played South High on our homecoming, so I'm not going to say anything about that, but we won some, we lost some.
we always had our homecomings versus North High. I actually won homecoming king as a senior.
Oh, didn't know that.
Mr. BHS, class of 94. Total surprise. I'm trying to think of who I paid off that week. Oh, I know what it was, Kev. I worked in the attendance office, so everybody used to get their notes from me. Arvin Bears coming out with an amazing display of defensive football today. And I talked about it with Mr. Willie earlier. You know, you don't get a lot of – Arvin hasn't won a Central Section championship in a long time. But you got greats like John Tarver, who called me last week, that grew up around the corner. And it's just a historic town for football guys. So you always get a nice brand of football, no matter how good the overall records turn out. You're going to come out here and you're going to see some great football being played. I had the honor of being the liaison for the great John Tarver when he was inducted to the Bob Elias Hall of Fame earlier this year. But we got Pap. Trips open set. I know, and it looks like a... Oh, and a late flag. It still is Pat back there. I thought they subbed that quarterback out, but it still is Josh Papp looking to try to get something going as the starter. Let's see what this penalty is. Personal foul. Illegal contact to the helmet by the Bears. And that looks like Angel Hernandez, the guilty culprit on that one. Well,
some updates. We got Stockdale. Actually, it's 18-9 Ridgeview in the third quarter.
Nice. Ridgeview looking to get off the schneid.
BCH is down 27-0 to CVC. Clovis 21, Sanger 7 in the third quarter. Bishop Diego 35, Garces 14 final.
Wow. So we got a timeout. Gives us the opportunity to talk about some more of these scores. Tough one for Garces. But Garces, you know, a lot of the Garces faithful have went ahead to say they have the toughest schedule in town, at least from their perspective.
I think they usually do.
Yeah, they usually do. They usually do. I mean, you know, that's one thing about Coach Gola. He's going to find a way to try to get his guys to compete at the highest level. Unfortunately, at the high school level, sometimes taking those lopsided victories can damage your locker room. And now you look up and you only got about 40 guys when you started with 60 after taking a few of those L's.
You know, our good mutual friend, Vance Palm, you're asking for stats. He sends you some stats. Ava Palm with 11 kills versus Washington State.
Wow, wow. You know, he had
always the promoter.
You know, he had to sneak in some of those, but how about the devastating Kern High legend, Ava Palm?
Glad
with
to have her
11
back
kills.
in town on our side.
What? Tell me about it. Trips open set for Kern Valley. Looking to capitalize after that penalty. Arvin still looking to bring pressure. We also talked about that earlier, and they still coming, and that pressure is causing problems. Patton swallowed up, and that's caught. Oh, my goodness. He barely got that out his hand, and it was caught.
Saved him a couple of yards, but still behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow. Brian Hernandez just happened to be right there. It was luckily caught because it could have been an interception as he just barely got it out of his hands in Patton. And that's what we talked about. You want to throw the football, but Kev, he hasn't had 2 seconds to plant his feet. So the Kern Valley Broncs up against it again, second and a long 18. And this Bears defense is not letting up. Oh, and they got a nice hole. Fullback dive has been their most successful play. And I'm going to say this because he's moving forward. You can't continue to try to get creative and go backwards. Sometimes the best recipe is just to fall forward, straight up and down football, to try to at least get your team in scoring position. Because right now, we should be in running clock territory. It's running right now, but I haven't paid attention with our dead balls. And even though we love the game, we also love to get home on time. Trips open set for the Bronx. Patton holding it too long, needs to find someone. You got to get rid of the football if you're Patton, and he does, but that's dangerous and only for about a 2-yard gain. And young quarterbacks, if you're watching at home, you have to have an internal clock to know when to release the football. You can't continue to try to extend plays because extending plays in some moments cause injuries, and what we've already seen is turnovers. So sometimes you want to take the first, second read, and if nothing's there, you want to find a way to just get rid of the football so you can get back up to the line and get back going. But Patton, tough kid, trying to extend plays and make things happen, but there's just nowhere to go. 6 minutes left to play in this quarter. Bronx looking to punt the football. And that's a nice high punt. And that's going to take a Bronx bounce. Be downed at the 21-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bears heading north.
At the Arvin 21-yard line.
Special thanks to Valley Strong Credit Union. Had to go and make some deposits this morning.
Couple more scores. Bullard 20, Frontier 10 in the third quarter.
Frontier's a good football team. They played very well last week. Bullard, traditionally a great football team. For them to be up 20-10, I think they must be a pretty dandy football team because Frontier looked pretty dang good last week.
We got Highland 20, Kennedy 14 in the third quarter.
Highland, how about Juarez? 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Now it looks like we got an illegal substitution for the Bears. And it looks like the clock is stopped.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
But I think we should be in running clock mode, so I'm going to go ahead and ask our PA announcers on the next dead ball.
16-yard line, 1st and 15.
Now it makes it 1st and 15, 5:43 to play. Arvin crowd is still up and pumped. And that's going to be a nice carry by Rome Rodriguez, getting his first carry of the football game.
Rome Rodriguez, the ball carrier.
$5:20 to play, third quarter. Right under the shadow of Bear Mountain.
2nd and 10.
In the house that the Satterfields built. Heard that's another famous Arvin name.
Timeout, Arvin.
So we'll take a quick timeout.
Timeout. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arvin.
Come back with more Kern High Network football. Arvin Bears up 36 over the Kern Valley Bronx with 0.
Busa Aguas, $5, $7, and $8. Mariscos Leves Buenos supporting the Give Back crew. Crazed food truck, pineapple ice cream, and hot Cheetos.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
So Arvin back, 2nd and 10. .457 to play. The Bronx just had a frustrating outing today from an offensive standpoint. Their defense has some bright moments early, playing very well, but just hard to continue to play at that pace when you're out on the field so long with the offense not being able to move the chains. And now the Arvin Bears looking to throw the football, and that's a nice tackle on the play by number 14, Deegan Lee. .355 remaining to play. We had to check in with our PA announcer and scoreboard operator to see if we have a running clock, because usually at 35 points it continues to run. It's running now because it was a run play, but they've actually stopped it on some dead balls, so she's looking for the officials to let her know. And this is the first punt of the night for the Arvin Bears. Oh, wow, nice move by the Bronx. So still on his feet for a second was Deegan Lee. And now they do stop that clock as they change possessions. So 1st and 10 for the Bronx. Trips open set. And they go with the power off to the left, but like I said, that defensive line of Arvin just continuing to get penetration and not giving an inch. And that's going to be a 1-yard loss. Polito on the stop.
Loss of a yard on the play. 2nd and 11. Ball to 44.
Second and 10 for the Broncos, for the Bronx. With 2:41 to play. Arvin has stayed in this 50 front, basically forcing Kern Valley to get rid of the football as fast as possible. Now you got Pap getting it out on the swing route, still trying to throw the football, and there's just nowhere to go with it.
The pass complete to number 14, Deegan Lee.
And that's going to bring up a 3rd and about 8 for the Bronx. Haven't been able to get much time to try to generate anything offensively, but you got to give credit where credit is due. That front 7 of the Bears have just put in work. Elias Romans played very well, as well as a few of those interior defensive tackles. Obed Martinez at the nose has been very dominant. Now they come back out in that trips open set with 1:31 to play. Patton rolls right, has a man, and that's going to be incomplete.
The pass incomplete. Number 12, Kyle Denny's the intended receiver.
Now that makes it about 4th and 8 for the Bronx. Trips open set for Patton. 3 deep safety look for the Bronx with 5 interior linemen bringing pressure. And now they take a shot. Going for the jump ball, and it's picked off. And that's going to be taken across the 30. And that's another great interception. That time, Joaquin Carici makes the play. And just nothing doing for Patton, and he's struggling everywhere. And that's going to be another turnover by this Arvin Bears defense. Playing a fantastic brand of football today.
Interception return takes the ball down to the 34-yard line. Arvin will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
No, so with this defense playing such lights out football, I'm having to try to think of who can I single out for our premier lighting player of the game, because everybody's bowling right now. It's going to be a 1st down carry. And they take that power play off the edge, and that's a nice straight arm. And that's another 8-yard carry. And that may be the last play of the half, and now we have another injured Bronx. He's going to get up on his own power. Now it's going to be a 2nd and about 3 for the Arvin Bears, and that offensive line is just doing so much work.
2nd and 3.
Meaning I hate having to single out who can I give this to, because both offensive line and defensive line have played fantastic for the Arvin Bears. And you know it's a tough game if we're already talking player of the game at the end of the 3rd quarter. Trips open set. And he's going to keep it. That's going to be a 1st down run out across the 40 to the 39-yard line for the Arvin Bears with 5.4 seconds left. Oh, but now we have a hold, so that'll be brought back after the carry by Elias Roman. So they're going to march that back with 5.4 seconds to play in this 3rd quarter. And that's going to make it 2nd and about 13 from the 42-yard line.
The Arvin 42-yard line, bringing up 2nd and 13.
Arvin will be away at Taft next week. And Kern Valley will host McFarland up in the Kern River Valley. But that is the end of the 3rd quarter, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back with more Kern High Network action right after this.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Yeah, go down there and tell them who it is, and then we'll get them the shirt.
All right, Arvin back at it. Fourth quarter action, and they go back to their most successful play, and that's that power off the right-hand side, and they get about 5 yards, maybe 6. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and 7.
Number 5, Xavier Redoso on the carry.
Redoso on the carry.
45.
They've just done a fantastic job. Right, power left. Guard and tackle blocking down. Other guards pulling. Fullbacks kicking out. Tight ends kicking out. Getting everything they want from this defense that's just been on the field extremely too long for the Bronx.
48-yard line. 3rd and 7.
Now we got another keeper off the edge. And that was Elias Roman again on the carry. He gets it out to about the 47-yard line. And that's going to be a 4th and short, and Arvin's going to go ahead and send their punt team out.
And down to the Kern Valley.
Not looking to kick them when they down.
4th and 2.
And go ahead and punt the football, which is very admirable by Coach Robert Riley, who has this game in hand with 36 points. No need to keep rubbing it in. Go ahead and punt the football before you get some of your offensive players injured trying to rub it in. Only their second punt of the game, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a catchable football right there. And that's one of the things that lets you know that guys are just ready to get on the bus. And if you know anything about our broadcast with me and Coach Van Horn, one of the things we hate is punt returners allowing the ball to hit the ground. You're put back there for a reason. Yeah, it's the hardest job in football, but that's why you get all the ladies after you catch all the balls. 9:36 to play.
Yeah, that's a position you know you're going to get the playing time, and you know you're going to touch the ball, but you got to catch it.
You got to catch it. It's actually we call that hors d'oeuvres because it's extras for you. You're already a specialty player. Getting out there on punt return gives you the opportunity to make the plays on your own.
Kern Valley ball, 1st and 10.
And now it looks like we have that running clock as the Bronx nearly lost the football on that exchange, and they're just not having any success. And you can see the body language of the Bronx just starting to reflect that of somebody that's ready to go hang out on the mountain. 2nd and 12. Arvin Bear history. Hernan Santiago, Dallas Grider, John Tarver, Satterfield, the Showers family. How can I forget about my famous Showers brothers?
The Hallums.
The Howlums. So many legendary names of families that come from this area that make this place great. And this is an amazing night for these fans, and they're enjoying every bit of it. You got a 36-point game, and not one person has left early.
Play stop.
3rd and 13. Right here, if you're the Bronx, you want to do something. Yeah, you want to use every snap as a practice opportunity, but you definitely don't want to do anything that puts another touchdown on the board for the defense. And you've already given them 7 points off a turnover with a scoop and score. You don't want to get too greedy down here inside your 5-yard line. And that's a high snap as well. And now it's going to be a sack for a safety. And that's why they pay us the big bucks. Because we just said what you don't want to do is give them more points. And ultimately, you're trying to pass it inside your 5-yard line with your center underneath and nobody in the route. I didn't even see one receiver out running a route. Nonetheless, that's going to be a turnover on downs again, or no, a turnover with the safety, and the Kern Valley Bronx will have to kick the football right back to the Arvin Bears. So with 6 minutes left to play, Kenny Calvin and Kevin Willie on Kern High Network. Definitely an amazing opportunity, beautiful experience for us to do what we do. You know, my motto is it's a dream come true to do what we do. You know, if you told me as a kid 35 years ago, 40 years ago that, hey, Kenny Calvin, I tell you what, when you get older, after the end of your career, I'm going to allow you to work with kids and watch football for a living, I would have took you up on that deal. So I want to thank everybody, the Kern High Network, Kern High School superintendents, our boss, Stan the Man Green, our secretary, Deanna Ribbons, processes all of our invoices. You know, such an amazing experience to be part of the great team. Our directors, Javier, Julian Wilson, Coach Rick Van Horn, my fellow broadcaster, Vance Palm, Coach Rich Cornford. Congratulations to Coach Cornford having a successful year with his new team at Del Oro. Got the JV guys going crazy. Got a couple big wins already under his belt. You know, just an amazing experience, man. And I'm so jealous that I didn't have this kind of media attention when I was in high school. Where were you, Stan? Oh, yeah, you were still handling your own business on the field. Up there winning national championships and stuff. So the Kern Valley Broncs will have a safety kickoff from the 20. And now we get a kickoff return. That's going to be taken at the 35. We'll see what he can do with it. Across the 50, and now he has a hole. Great return by Mateo Alvarez. I know another guy named Mateo Alvarez. Just so happens to be the greatest kicking coach in the land up at Bakersfield College.
And a brand new daddy.
His baby had on the BC onesie the other night, and I was so jealous of that because I was like, man, I wish we had those when my daughter was a baby. I sound like a hater tonight. I'm jealous of everything.
You're getting old.
Yeah, I'm getting old, man.
They
didn't have all that cool stuff, man.
Arvin will take over on offense, 1st and 10.
So the Arvin Bears looking to get some of their other players in with this handsome lead with 4:20 left to play. And that's going to be a nice power run. And that might be the first carry for Adrian Sarabia, tackled on the play by Thomas Henry.
It's a ball down to the 35-yard line, 3 yards on the play.
Yeah, I guess since I'm not a hater in real life too much, I got to get all my hate out during these broadcasts. but it's like you said, Kev, you know, we live in the technology age. You know, we think back 30, 40 years ago, you know, all my games are on VHS cassette. And that power play has been very successful for the Arvin Bears. You know, I always joke with my kids about, you know, if they ever want to watch film with me, I got to go borrow VCR from a pawn shop or something just to be able to watch it. But that's the beauty of the experience being here with you guys with Kern High Network and seeing everything that we've poured into it and poured into the community is how much love we're giving back to the students as an agency and an organization.
Yeah, they can go home tomorrow and watch the films right on their TV set.
Absolutely. Twins left for the Arvin Bears. Man coverage for Kern Valley. They look like they have some new faces in there, and that's going to be a keeper on the inside, and great carry by Elias Roman. Continuing to move the chains, and now we have chopped it down to about 250. And they're continuing to run that clock. Do we got any more scores, Kev?
Yep, it's been pretty quiet over there.
So the Arvin Bears on homecoming under the shadow of Bear Mountain, looking to get the shutout in front of their packed, nearly sold out crowd. And now they waving goodbye to the Kern Valley Broncs fans on the other side as we near 2 minutes. And that ball continuing to move. So a lot of bright spots. If I could take it back and just kind of evaluate where the game just took off, it would have to be the play by the defensive line of the Arvin Bears. I know that I'm not supposed to give out my player of the game to a group because we might not have that many T-shirts. But, guys, I got to be honest with you. From the mid-first quarter, that defensive line caused so much disruption to that Kern Valley Bronx offense. They just didn't have an opportunity to do anything.
I don't know. We've been getting in trouble for giving away 2. I don't know if we give away 11. I don't know how that works.
Right. So maybe we give it to the team captain. We'll give it to the team captain for the line. But we'll take our last timeout of the contest with 1 minute to play. Give our sponsors an opportunity to get some fresh air as well on Kern High Network.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd and 15. Twins left for the for the Bears. And now they go that power sweep, and it looks like it's going to be night-night, ladies and gentlemen. 1 later to beat. Now that's a touchdown burst. And now it looks like he's cramping after his touchdown. Gotta love it. But the Bears, they get the score, and ladies and gentlemen, that might be the last play of the game unless they get lined up for this after point. So what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. There was a guy on the defensive line that I saw that didn't leave the field, and being that the defensive line was the most successful part of the football game, I'm going to go ahead and name Elias Roman. Played linebacker, fantastic job, had some opportunities at quarterback, but just a great job establishing dominance for the defense for the Bears. Elias Roman will be our Kern High Network player of the game, and that will be the end of it for our Arvin Bears, who take the victory 45 over the Kern Valley Bronx with 0. I am Kenny Calvin. It's been Kevin Willie for the Kern High Network. We want to thank everybody over at the office, and the Kern High School District Superintendents, our sponsors at Valley Strong Credit Union, and our boss, the Hall of Famer, Stan the Man Green. This has been Kenny Calvin. We'll see you guys tomorrow up at the Palace on Panorama.